You should wait for numbers, bro. In like 6 months, you'll be able to tell. Help us go from a mil a month to 20 mil a month. We're only getting started.
Well, this is what I wanted to touch on. If I got it right, you mentioned you were at 4.5.
We did 4.7 in. We did 4.7 in July. In July, sorry.
Yeah.
August we'll do 5.5 minimum, and September we'll do 7.5 for sure.
And where were we when we started?
800, I think, a million.
So, I mean, for me, that's a good case study already, but
it's peanuts.
We can wait, bro. 20 mil a month, so that's where we're going to be, 6 months from now?
Easy.
Bro, you're smashing it.
Clip that.
Yeah. That's a good clip. But you're honestly smashing it, mate. Like, it's incredible growth.
It's the team, bro. They're all super dialed in, and it's just crazy. Everyone is pushing, and you're speaking with the team a lot, Gonzalo, a lot. You see how fucking crazy they are, and I could not do this alone, bro. They're just absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I've learned. I kind of want to know your thoughts on that, actually. So right now, obviously, we need seniors to keep growing the business, but I still value investing a lot of time in juniors that I know have potential, and I'm doing it with a lot of them right now because I know that in a year, that's going to be our biggest edge against other people. Mm-hmm. So that was a massive learning for me when it comes to this whole experience, is the importance of investing a year or two in training someone up that you truly believe in.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like having that band of loyal employees is worth way more than I don't want to say experienced people, because obviously they're now very experienced in what they're doing and in their position. Yeah. But yeah, like you cannot replace loyalty. And I think, there's really only one way to buy loyalty, which is to transform somebody's life to the point where they know they couldn't have done it without you. Like when you hire a senior on a salary, anyone else can provide them that salary. Like what differentiates working with you and your experience versus like elsewhere? And I think, like you say, like taking somebody from a junior to a senior, like them growing as an individual, becoming an integral part of the company, like being part of that entire transformation is going to buy them in so much more than somebody just coming in to get paid. But I think you can foster that with seniors as well. If they experience exponential growth as part of joining the company and they grow personally as well, then they can also get to a similar level of loyalty. But
I think you're right about the senior. I guess that's a limiting belief that I have that I need to work on. It doesn't only have to be with junior.
Yeah,
that's true. There's no reason to think that.
It's about culture, and I think this is something I'm really leaning into at the moment. Is like, culture is the unspoken set of values that is shared across the team. It's like if somebody joins, they know what's expected of them without you having to constantly drill it into them, because either the team do that for you, or you're hiring so in alignment with that set of values that you're already bringing people into the team that operate in the exact same way. So when you build a culture of people that are so aligned, that also, it shows how good of a leader you are. And like seniors, yes, they manage people. Yes, they have a lot of ownership. Yes, they get paid a lot of money. But they still don't have the same, I suppose, psychological, emotional. They don't have the same identity as someone like yourself who founded this business from nothing and grew it to what it is. So they're still always going to look to you as somebody that can provide them with something that they don't already have. So as long as you spend that time with these seniors and you really get them invested in who you are as a person, your vision and where you're going, like, yeah, you're right. You'll still get the same level of buy-in. It'll just come in a bit of a different way.
Yeah, no, that's very, very good point. Very, very good point.
Cool. Well, we'll run with this. So obviously you said the team is so dialed in. Like how many people right now? I think we've placed 11, a few more now since, 11 people.
I don't know how many you guys placed. There's a couple of hires I haven't really been aware of that has been happening, but I know we've reached 34 people right now on the team.
Okay, bet. Maybe my data is a little behind how quick you guys are growing, but I know we had 11 people logged in the system. Obviously, there's like you guys are hiring pretty much daily, so It would, yeah. Let's say like maybe around approximately 15 people, right?
Yeah, around that, between 10 to 15 for sure.
How have you felt things change? Because obviously, let's say you had 15 people before approximately, and you added another 15. The first 15 got you to what, 800k a mil a month. The next 15 have got you to what, 4.7 last month.
Yeah.
You've been able to add exponentially more revenue with the same amount of headcount that got you to 1 million. So the first 1 million you did with 15 people, obviously you hired them towards the back end, but then the next nearly 4 million you did with 15 people. So you've essentially got 400% more out of the next batch of 15 people than you did the first batch. Is there any reason why you think that is? Obviously experience plays one part, experience of the company.
I think the main reason is just that's kind of the business model in e-com. It definitely plays a part. How this business is ran and how this business is managed is very exponential. So it makes sense that the more you grow, the less heads you need. I also think our bar internally is just insanely high. And all of our seniors, me, myself, and the executive, we keep the bar extremely high. And it's not made for everyone. A lot of people join and they just leave after a week because they're like, fuck, I'm not dealing with this. This is too much for me. That's fine for me. And then so me and the executive, we keep a very high bar, and so does the senior in the company. So I think everyone on the team is just extremely dialed in, which allows us to get more out of people and allows them to grow more and be more fulfilled. Again, it doesn't work with everyone. If you're someone that just wants a culture that's more, or you want an environment that's more chill and allow you to do your work and not think about work after you're done, definitely we can provide that. But because we don't aim for such culture, I think our people are just multiple person at once. They're exponentially able to create more and produce more input.
Yeah.
So I would say it's a mix of these two.
For sure. You said something important there as well, which is like some people will join and they won't be cut out for it. So how important is it to have a continual pipeline of candidates versus searching reactively every time you need somebody?
With the editors problem we had the last month that we've been working on, we understood that there's some roles that we just can't stop hiring for. And think about it, we're doing 4 million a month and our biggest bottleneck was not having enough editors. That's so stupid in my head, right? Just because we were not proactive with it. Now that we fixed it and things are rolling, it's just finally it's gone. But my point is that yes, it is very important, and we've seen it by not doing this for editors soon enough. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
I would say it's like the guy that gets all the girls. You know, he has that confidence, right? That he can do what he wants, and if one of them isn't happy, then he can move on to the next. You know, it's a questionable analogy, but it's the same, right? When you've got a pipeline of editors or strategists or whatever it is, you know, you guys can demand a standard for the business that people must meet, and if they don't meet it, it's no problem to you guys because there's always going to be somebody else there willing to take the challenge. So it means that, you know, you don't have to lower your standards to meet what the market is offering at that time. You can demand a standard, and you constantly have the inflow of candidates to be able to fill the gap whenever somebody isn't cut out for what you guys demand.
That's a very good point. There's something that stood out for me when I went to an event and I met Iman Gadzi like 3 years ago, bro. And one thing that stood out for me, other than how tall this guy is the amount of impression he gets on a job post, obviously because of his audience, and how much of that leverage this is. If he can post a story and get 8,000 applicants, just nobody can beat him in terms of getting the best talent in the team. And that made me realize that volume is also a game. Like, this is why I don't know if the team kept you updated on what we're doing at the holding level. I mean, we're looking for head of content, and we hired that internally. But I think this is going to be such a game changer in the next 6 to 12 months. Us starting to push content out there and building a brand at the holding level, that will allow us to get such a good inflow of candidates. People that are extremely motivated and bought into the culture because they obviously see what we're building. And I think, especially since we're building a holding, which it's a very a holding compared to one brand requires obviously a lot more people because we need one team for each brand. So it's way more people heavy. That's really going to allow us to scale quickly because, as you know, we're quite fucking crazy in terms of hiring and scaling. Like we don't have the break on, and it's quite hard to catch up. So I think that's going to be so massive when we're going to have that inbound flow of leads from our content. It's going to be a lever that not a lot of people have.
I agree. It's like Vince and OK brands, like they're doing a similar thing, right? Like they command so much authority in the market that they have queues of people waiting to work for them, and like that's what you build by diversifying where you advertise and also how you market yourself. It's a very good point. I actually did a post about this yesterday. Like everybody's so focused on direct response marketing, but that's only good for customer acquisition. The biggest lever in your business is talent acquisition, and when you build a brand. Building a brand gives you leverage on the talent acquisition side as well as the customer acquisition side. And I think so many people overlook investing in just branding alone because they don't see a direct ROI. But the indirect ROI is, like you say, you can funnel talent through that because people see you as an authority figure in the market. They respect the brand, they respect the founder's journey, they respect the hustle, they want to be a part of it.
Obviously, we're building a brand at the holding level. We're also taking branding seriously within our own brand. That's something we've been working on the last month. Have you ever seen an e-com brand using their brand at the brand level to get talent?
Yeah, so great example the other day. I posted on our Twitter, we have a candidate ex-Resilia. Everyone knows Resilia. So immediately I had hundreds of founders, e-com brands DM me like, I want this candidate. That name alone was enough for brands to go crazy. So that means that on the flip side, for candidates, any candidate that sees Resilia advertising, they know who they are, they know what they're about, they know the aura that brand has, right? So it is used. Space Goods, we work with Space Goods, and it's the same thing. If we put out an ad, we're hiring for Space Goods, we get a much higher volume of candidates because they know the brand. Like they know what they're about, they know the founder story, they're just bought in. And I think there's a good point here. Like you can pay as much as you want, but people actually subconsciously aren't as motivated by the money as they think. They're more motivated by being a part of something they can perceive to become bigger than them. So the money is like the hook, but the real deciding factor for them is like, where am I going to be in 12 months if I join this company? And everybody knows these big brands are just on their way to the moon and they're going to be a part of that. And that's a huge lever for sure.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to get out there and show what we're building, because I think we're quite on a rocket ship. But if we don't show it, it's quite useless. People only notice it when you join. Yeah, that's going to be fun. We're going to need some help and some hires on that side also. Some more work for you guys.
We welcome it. It's a pleasure. It really is. It's great to work with yourself and similar founders because, you also mentioned how aggressive you guys are with hiring. This is something I've been banging on about. You've provided a great case study for me, by the way. But it's like to shift identity. To change your reality, you must shift identity, right? And to shift identity, you must force yourself to become somebody new. You cannot wish your way into becoming somebody new. And a prime example with you guys is you hire like crazy and then the business catches up to those decisions that you make. That is you literally quantum leaping reality because you're saying, well, the identity of our brand is already doing 20 mil a month and we're hiring based on that. We're not hiring based on the current state of the business. We're hiring based on where we want to go. And then that just pulls everything towards that new identity. instead of you guys pushing from a deficit, you're literally pulling from a surplus. And I think a lot of founders are very timid when it comes to hiring. And it's funny because hiring makes up the smallest percentage of operational expenses for brands.
Yeah.
You know, payrolls, what, 100, 150K versus like ad spend is a couple of mil a month. Like proportionately, it's tiny.
Yeah, super.
And yet people make such, when it comes to hiring, that's where they're most timid. And I think it's more so because the problems, the challenges it brings about, building a team, leading, the transition the founder has to go from being a performance marketer to a leader. And that's something you've done exceptionally well. It's like you understood your role and responsibility would change and you embraced that and you became the leader that invests in his people versus approves the discount codes and signs off on the creative briefs and like stays stuck in the identity of an employee. You know, you've transitioned into the identity of one, a leader, and now like just a visionary. Like, you know, without you and setting the vision and these goals that you guys have, you know, and this is creating the culture, right? Everybody wouldn't be operating like they are right now. So I think partly, founders fear without realizing what it's going to take from them to really get to where you guys are at and the other big brands and big founders.
What would you say to a very early stage founder for him to speed up that transition? One of my main fear that I had was that and this is something that Gonzalo pointed out, and since he pointed that out, he's 100% right. I love control. I love to control shit. I like sometimes I'll wake up and I don't understand what's happening in this specific department. I'm gonna go crazy, and then I need to tell myself, Damien, this is fine. You don't have to understand all of this. But that's just who I am. And that really made that switch difficult because it meant not having control over a lot of things happening and just trusting that things will get done. That was my issue. I don't know if this is the issue. I don't know what was your issue because you also had to go through that transition. I don't know if this is the issue of many, but my question to you is, what would you say to a very early stage founder for him to speed up that transition?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. It's an identity thing again, right? Like, I was the same. And it wasn't until I let go and I kind of had to prepare myself for everything to fall around me mentally. And it never does, right? Because what you've built has integrity and it can exist without you. And I think that a lot of founders get stuck in that trap of not being able to give away control. And by doing that, they limit their business's ability to grow. Because like you said, the second you were able to fully detached from outcomes and let go of control, things changed a lot. And that's because when your team sees you as the person that owns whatever outcome it is you're trying to achieve, they're never going to take that responsibility for themselves. And likewise, if you never let them do it, then immediately, you know, it's always going to stay that dynamic where they could do it, but they choose not to because, you know, you or the founder's choosing not to. So to answer your question, for founders that want to do that transition faster, it is simply a case of just doing, like literally just taking the risk, putting faith in the people that they've hired and the system that they've created. I mean, a good exercise is to take a week off and literally force yourself not to check anything. It will be the hardest thing any founder has to do. And they will come back after a week of not being there, not replying to messages, not checking the Shopify dashboard or the ad account. And when they come back after that week, one of two things will have happened. Their business will have burnt and died, which is very unlikely, or they will prove to themselves that they're actually not needed. And then that will give them a whole new perspective and it'll allow them to start operating differently. But it's one of those, you know, some people learn it quickly, some people, it takes them a lifetime to learn it. But what I will say is those that do understand this concept scale 10 times faster than those that don't.
For sure, yeah.
Nice, bro. Well, I know we're pushed for time. I'd love to get a case study when you guys are at 20 mil a month, but I think the journey you've gone through right now is compelling enough. What would you say as a final kind of a final sentence or a final paragraph to anybody that, one, is looking at us like a recruitment company, which I believe is a big limiting belief, but is also like looking to scale their brand, and they don't necessarily know what maybe the best next steps are, or what route to go down. Like, what would you say to them?
About you guys, like the thing that I'm the most grateful when it comes to working with Tallow is that, and I don't know if you guys are like this with every client. I hope you are. I think you are. But it's not a recruitment-based relationship. It's very much like a partner-based relationship. And we push you guys a lot. And you are able to build a team and change your system and just evolve as a business, because you also run a business. We're both business owners here. A lot of agencies, I feel like they're stuck in their way and they're not going to improve because they feel like they have everything working, and maybe it works for other clients because they're not as extreme. But even though we've been extreme with you guys and definitely showing you some challenge, I think we have like 12 open roles right now, because I was like, I need all of them by the end of the month. Like, but you've been able to do this by just improving your team and hiring more people and listening to us and our needs, and actually becoming flexible or being flexible and improving as a business. So I think this is what's the most important, because I know that if there's a problem, we have a problem right now, right? We want to improve when it comes to headhunting. We're very good at job posting, but we want to become better at headhunting. The thing that I'm happy is that I know that within 2 or 3 weeks, it's fixed. Like, it's not a problem, because I know you guys are on it and take it seriously, right? So I think that's the biggest thing. And I think that's what's been making this partnership super, super successful. When it comes to your second question, or the second part of your question, what brand owner needs to do to scale quicker? That's a big one. It's a big one. Well, I guess keeping with the call is what we've discussed, right? Is making that transition. I think the word let go is super relevant. Just letting go of control, letting go of wanting to understand everything, control everything, letting go of needing things to be done 100% your way. That's a big one. If something is done 80% your way, but there's some small details that piss you off, don't change them. It's not needed. Let people build their own thing within your organization. You just need to create a wall and you let people build towers inside. But don't go and build towers yourself, because then you're not focusing on what the leader is supposed to do, which is leading and showing the vision and showing the direction and letting people do their thing. I think that would be the best one when it comes to building a team.
I agree 100%. Bring in the right people, give them the space to do their thing, but like you say, within a confine created by the founder, and they'll just grow exponentially quick like you guys have done.
One of the biggest change that happened within our organization is stopping to assign tasks. Like, we try to assign tasks as least as possible. Always try to assign outcomes. If you assign a task, people are not going to take ownership. So try to avoid assigning specific to-dos and always assign. Obviously, sometimes you have to assign a task. It's not a problem. But as much as possible, assign an outcome. And be very clear on the outcome that you need. Spend a lot of time explaining that. Do not give the answer and let people figure it out. And that's actually how you get people to take ownership.
It's very true. I don't know if you notice in our job descriptions, but instead of the tasks and responsibilities, we list the outcomes that person will be responsible for ensuring.
Yeah, it's the most important thing, bro.
100%. 100%. And it's also harder to manage people based on tasks than it is outcomes.
True.
Because an outcome is a singular, yes. Right? And then multiple tasks will make up the achievement of that outcome. So it's much easier to focus on the end goal than micromanage. And people hate being micromanaged, and it wastes time, it's inefficient, it creates bad culture. It's very good point. Appreciate you. I'm really glad to hear that you're growing incredibly fast and things are going well. And I'm very excited to be a part of the next 6 to 12 months of growth for you guys. Hopefully even longer, bro.
It's only the beginning. 12 months, that's nothing. Hopefully 5 years.
5 years.
I have to see bigger than this.